Well, it's a good evening here in Brisbane, Queensland, Australia. It's just gone past 7 o'clock. It's 9 o'clock in New Zealand. And above me, since I'm in the Southern Hemisphere, and the two girls above me in the Northern Hemisphere, it's 10 o'clock in the morning in the UK. My co-host is none other than Andrena Forrest. Above her is our guest tonight, Jacqueline. But before we go anywhere, we need to do a plug for a particular pub. And that pub's called the Swan in Bradford.co.uk. It's not Bradford in Yorkshire, it's actually in Wiltshire, which is the home of the crop circle. So we're doing this because Andrena's been able to find, well, she's been on the water too. She's been on a barge going around Bradford Avon Canal. So she needed to get a Wi-Fi spot. And so this particular hotel has been able to provide her with the opportunity to broadcast tonight's show. That's our generous way of paying it forward. Thank you very much. So, Andrena, you've run into Jacqueline, and as a result of that, she's been invited by you to come on to our show tonight. So I'll pass that over to you. Hey, your audio's off, love.
No, I'm here.
Andrena's. All right, so he's trying to get in. Maybe the headphones off. Is there a microphone on them headphones? No, I think you can have to put. You've turned off your microphone now, so it's on your laptop. Just go to your laptop. You've got it muted. Okay, so just go on your laptop. You've got mute just down the bottom there. All right. Anyway, so you can't handle tech. So look, Jacqueline, it's great. So in the meantime, I'll carry on with the conversation. Andrena, you just go onto your site there, and you'll find that you've just got mute. Just go down to the bottom left-hand corner. You've got mute, stop cam. There you go. So now it's a case of you just got to turn up your microphone speaker. You all right? All right. So in the meantime, while that's carrying on, Jacqueline, it's nice to have you on board.
Have to be.
Andrena, you just have to go and get your sister on the job. Yeah. All right. So you've caught up with Andrena. You obviously did win Wales. And
yeah, I do. I caught up with Andrena because I was offering free sessions because I was finishing a year's training with the whales and dolphin. I was always a well-qualified therapist. But last summer, actually about this time last summer, I was going to bed, and this head appeared next to me, and a whale appeared. It was enormous. And the whale was talking to me. I trained originally as an animal communicator, which is telepathic skills, which we've all got, but we don't know. And that was many years ago. And I was a little surprised. I had not experienced anything like that. And because, of course, the water came in as well, which just sort of blows your mind. Because this is on land. I'm a long way from the city. So about an hour and a half, and then that's the muddy River Severn, which is a estuary, a tidal river, one of the only ones in England, and it's very dirty, muggy water around there. So, and then the dolphins came afterwards, and they just said, "Would you consider doing this course?" And I moaned, to be honest, because I'm fed up with doing courses, and I think Andrena is coming in. But I got on board, and it was because they were so intriguing how they came to me. And it has blown my mind what they've done. So it's called Whale and Dolphin Energy Light Medicine. Okay. I was originally trained as a healer, and part of my roots is angel. I'm an angel, come to Earth to help at this time and serve the planet, which I've only known for a few years. It was kind of blown my mind. Yeah, but it's just been thrilling to work with the whales and dolphins, and they've set up a whole lot of templates to help us activate our light bodies So our bodies hold more light, and the DNA is recalibrated by the dolphins. And they also do lots of other things as well. I think you might have a picture of the 12 templates that they work with I sent you that you could put up.
12?
Yeah, there's 12 each of the whales and the dolphins. So the templates are amazing.
Are you talking about the energy ones? Yeah?
Yeah, the energy templates. So they both work with the physical body as well. Here they are. They work with the physical body or the biological layer, as the dolphins call it. But then they go into all sorts of different templates that they work with to adjust your light body and to activate memories within you, so you remember who you really are. They're always talking to us about being our authentic self and remembering who we really are. And of course, the dolphins are also at the same time. Even when we're not doing a dolphin template, the dolphins will always turn up in a session. And they're working on your DNA, because a lot of trauma and issues go in and change your DNA. And so they're bringing us back to what's called our original divine blueprint. And that's been twisted. And so that we haven't wanted it to be. Because, you hear them saying that we create our world. And yes, we do create our world, but that is created by our unconscious mind, which is most of our brain creates our world. And the little bit of our brain that we use, which I say is sort of like 5%, it doesn't really create the mind. So when we might be creating a life that we want, things keep happening. And so there will be negative patterns going on in your life that are affecting you. Things keep happening, repeating things keep happening, sometimes they're very unpleasant things. And what happens is that has got into your unconscious mind, and my job is to go into your unconscious mind with the whales and dolphins. And they're such advanced beings that we don't realise. And they will come to an issue and show me what the issue is, and we'll work together as a team to bring solution to that issue. So I can carry on.
No. Okay, so we both have an affinity, and Andrena, we can't listen to you, can't hear you, so your microphone's not working. So I'd suggest you reboot your laptop and restart. So I would say that Zoom or Skype or whatever's taken over your default setting for your microphone. Or alternatively, you can go to your mobile phone and come through on your mobile phone. Come through on one of the browsers there. Well, there might be someone to Bradford who can help you. It's the microphone setting on your computer. Hey, so Andrena and I both have affinities with whales and dolphins. You can probably see in the background there, we've got a whale there. That whale came with and mugged the boat. Spent close to 40 minutes around the boat. You could actually feel their energy for some distance. So we have that affinity. So it was quite surprising that Andrena said, "Oh, look, I know we've had a show already there while you're on the water to do with whales, but I've come across Jacqueline. I think it might be advisable to have her back on the show. Or have you on the show first time." So let's just start on the whole concept here of whales. I mean, there's a lot of relationships to do with whales in the sense of Moby Dick and, of course, Job. Is it? He's the one that Jacob, who went in the whale and went through.
Yeah, the one that got swallowed by the whale.
Yeah. And of course, up in Vancouver West, there's a big monument to the orcas there, in particular, a gentleman there, a young fella who helped to save a ship with the help of the orcas. So there's always been an interaction with whales, and of course in New Zealand there was Oppo. He'd come in all the time in the 50s and mingled with New Zealanders, and of course Monkey Mire in West Australia certainly has the dolphins there. In Queensland it's got Tin Can Bay, the dolphins come right up there, and there's places at Stradbroke Island just off Brisbane, and the dolphins come up right up to the you can be standing on the water's edge around the ankles, and they come right up.
Oh, how lovely.
Yeah. So there's a lot of interaction. A lot of people go to Florida and to the Bahamas and Bermuda and that stuff to deal with the dolphins, of course, isn't it? So So this dream situation took place for you, and it brought you into following the whales and dolphins. So what was the next part on that then?
Well, I learned a lot with so when you're out on the boat, and I was listening to that broadcast when you're out on the boat, and it was interesting because you were saying stuff that's so relevant for the whales. So their bodies actually hold the violet flame, which is sort of transmutes negative energy. So when they're near the boat, that's the energy that you're feeling. And also they're very calm, aren't they? That calm energy. And it's synchronizing, your body synchronizes with that energy, so it relieves stress and takes any anxiety away. But at the same time, they'll be working on you, on your physical body, and it's no mistake that they're there with you, and they often hang around and very friendly. I think we've got a slide we can show, a video we can show about them waving their hands that I sent in.
The video clip. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, and have a look at that as well, because they really, really relate to us, because we've got similar DNA, because their fins actually are a hand, the bones, they've got the 5 fingers and 5 toes, but of course it doesn't look like it, and they're in the water, so we don't think it relates to us, but actually they are waving with their hands. Yeah, that's lovely that we're coming out that water, and you often see them just waving their hands at the ships. They just love us human. Of course, they're very kind and friendly and very gentle giants, aren't they, of the deep, coming up with their energies and their solution. They've been in the waters for about 300 million years, and the dolphins have been in the waters for 30 million years, so not so long. But of course, the dolphins, they bring such joy to the planet, and they're holding the energy of joy for us. And of course, it's very dark times on the planet for a long time, and that joy is held by the dolphins for us, and they actually work outside the planet in grids, on the ascension grid, and they hold the energy of joy. And actually, you can visit your own place on the grid in meditation, which is really fun to do. I'm trying to think what else the whales do. So, of course, when you connect to the whales, they just ask you, they always like you to give them permission, and you just say, oh yeah, would you give us a hand? And they work in something called the Akashic Records. And the Akashic Records are sort of libraries of all your lives, and they're located in the very heart of the earth, in great crystals in the heart of the earth, and also they're located on the whale's home planet, which is Sirius B. Sirius B. So, of course, we've just come out of the Lion's Gate, which most people would probably have heard of. And that's a special connection in the energy fields of connecting to Sirius star system, which the scientists have actually proven that there is a connection to how the Earth relates to Sirius system, and it's like our spiritual helpers. And there's lovely energies. Of course, there's many planets on the Sirius system. The whales and dolphins are on Sirius B. Sirius B, and on Sirius A is the lion-headed people, often called the magnificent lion-headed beings, which you can visit as well. And a channeler should be able to visit and describe what's going on. I'm very fortunate in that my channeling skills I'm more of a seer, so that I can tell people what I'm seeing and share with them what I'm seeing.
Upside down.
I think Andrena's coming back in.
Yeah, she's talking over top of us now.
So the whales work really a lot in the Akashic Records, and bringing a lot of release to us on the planet, and helping us, because our energy fields are becoming very clogged over a long period of time, of very dark energies on the planet, and lots of wars. And I'm sure everybody would have had weird feelings about, I feel like I was in that war, or memories about different things. I know what I did back in 2000. I was having weird sort of thoughts coming into my head, and I didn't really understand them. But now, we're getting more teaching available to us about what's been going on. And often these toxic energies just need to be released from our system, and so that the light can come in, which of course is bombarding the planet at the moment. The energies that have been rolling in since the summer solstice have been mind-blowing, really. They're so high level. Sometimes they're love. It's not one energy that's coming in all the time. It's lots of different energies coming in. So the sun is a gateway, and will send energies into the earth and bombard the earth. The sun is also releasing solar flares and coronal mass ejections, and this is bringing a lot of high level light into the planet to help us release and purge all this negative energy that we've held. And the people that are at the forefront of that are called light workers, for which I am one, and I'm also a star seed. And so I didn't come into that knowledge overnight. It's sort of grown with me, but certainly the last year and a half, there's been a lot of growth and understanding. That's why the wells are coming up and talking to you. They're trying to get us to understand there's much more available to a relationship with them than we comprehend. But of course, their brains are so big, and we've been told that we can't telepathically talk to them or any animal, but of course we can. And of course, the highest level of healers on the planet are the animal kingdom, of which the wells are included in that as well. Am I blowing your mind? Oh, this is one where they're going to wave to us. It's coming out of the water. It's about 18 seconds in.
Yeah, sorry, I didn't get your one. I found my one. Yeah. Yeah, that's the one that we had around our boat. Did you see him come out of the water?
Lovely, lovely. So, did you see his eye at all when he came out of the water? Did he show you his eye any time?
Maybe
bringing the head out. Were you aware of it at all? Because often in meditation, you'll see the whale's eye.
Let's take that out. Watch this.
People always get so happy. I always feel so happy when I connect to them. Sometimes I just watch it on the YouTube just for the joy of it.
Okay, so this one's going to come right out, and then it's going to come right up, and then the second one is the one that pops its head up. So when you're referred to looking in the eyes, this is the one we're referring to. This one took us by surprise. Yeah.
Yeah, they like to do that. They've got a great sense of humour, and they laugh with a chest, with a belly chest laugh. It's just beautiful.
Here he comes.
Here it comes. And I've got a world like that coming up on my Facebook page.
All right.
So when you connect into the eye, sometimes you just get a second of connection, and you'll get this feeling. And I think the lady you were with, she was talking about this feeling of ancient being and great knowledge that they carry. And that's what is in the eye of the well. But in the meditations that they ask us to do with the templates, they ask us to go into the eye of the well, and with that you take your past lives and your future lives in, and also those parts of you of your soul. So our soul is made up of 12 different parts, and it's of which you are one. And you can take those in as well, and the wells will work on all of the family, all of the soul family, all your past and future lives in the Akashic records, and with your DNA, and with the dolphins, and they can work so amazing. There's been amazing healings. There was this guy who had to have, he must have had very intrusive surgery because they'd cut his optic nerve, which is, it must have been a tumor. I don't know the background of it, but I know that when he was with the whales, they repaired it, and the dolphins, they repaired the optic nerve, and he was blind in his eye and had no hope of restoring the sight in that eye, but it was restored because the whales and dolphins were able to work on it, which is incredible, just incredible. So lots of people with cancer have been helped with the whales and dolphins, and they do that by working in the biological layer and the DNA physical body, and working in the other templates as well, which, you know, it's just an incredible thing. And they're talking about them being the medicine of the future, because ours are very archaic. I've been in a surgery, and it's the most beautiful atmosphere in the theatres. I was training, and I witnessed an amputation of a leg, and it was just so tragic, though, because, you know, it's so invasive and they couldn't repair it. Whereas the whales and dolphins are going to be able to come in and help us in the future and deal with a lot of these diseases that we've been struggling with on the planet.
Most of them are all man-made, aren't they?
Yeah, a lot of them are rooted in emotional issues, but we don't know that. It's become very distant from the emotional issues. Are you with us, Andrena? No, can't hear you again. Okay, because it was working, wasn't it? Yeah. And so when I work, I'm realizing now how complicated and how many issues we've got and many lifetimes we've had. Most of us are old souls, so you're probably thousands of lifetimes. So it's, you know, you're just having to commit a little bit of time. But I like to work with the whales and dolphins, and they work with harmony with all higher beings. So they work with the angelic realm and the archangels and ascended masters, because when you get to that level of working, everything's in harmony and love, and well supported by cosmic beings and energies. And so as we connect, there's an understanding that comes through, and a teaching you about the oneness of us all, and how we're all interrelated, and all strife and dispute needs to just drop away, and we need to see that we all look different. We all look different on the earth, but when the higher beings and the star beings start turning up, and they're desperate to connect with us. And the whales we're used to, we realise that they, you know, what they look like. We're not going to be frightened if a whale turned up. But a lot of the other beings look very different. They might look like an insect. They might look like the Pleiadians. The Pleiadians have their the energy body, and they just radiate this huge level of light out of their heart. They have the most beautiful hearts and want to so desperately help heal our hearts. And of course, our heart is our ancient organ, and sorry, I got distracted by Andrena popping up on the screen. The heart is an ancient organ, and it needs healing. So as your heart is healed, it expands and gets bigger. When I go into my heart now, I can go back through many, many years and lifetimes, right back to my creation and separation from source. Of course, we never really separated. That's the point. But that's when the concept started coming in. And for me, I had a lot of issues in my past lives that needed to be resolved, and these are being resolved in this lifetime as well. And so things are a lot more complicated than we realise, but actually they're also a lot more loving and beautiful than we realise. It never ceases to amaze me how the creatures and all the animals and birds get involved in the sessions. I was actually talking to with a client and in deep discussion with them. We were going on a meditation, and this magpie, I don't know if you have or know what magpies are, they're black and white, quite a big size bird, came and just on the windowsill, never done it before, and he stood and stared at me, and all this energy came in, and this lady was suffering tremendously from tiredness and exhaustion. And she said, oh, I had that happen the other day, and there was something going on in the energy realm that I didn't really fully understand, but was very apparent. And it was like this bubble of energy came over me that was so huge, probably 6 feet round, and came through my field. And as we become more sensitive, of course, over the years, I've always been accused, oh, you're too sensitive. But actually now I realise, I tell people that I meet in the street, oh, you're sensitive, that's such a blessing. Because we've been told that it's not a blessing because it's a hard life. But the whole point of us being here is to change the vibration of the planet and to bring in this love and kindness and the gentleness. And the sensitive people are able to do that and to pull up and, to challenge people are very hard. When we were younger, we were subject to terrible discipline, and England was particularly bad at that. I don't know what it was like in Australia, and it's affected us bad. yeah, same. Can't think why. And and of course those things need healing. So that's just this life. When you look at your childhood and all the things, because most of our life is and our beliefs are set up by the time you are 7. So, we can look at the little children. Do you remember, when you have your children as toddlers, they're having screaming, you don't know why. On the things are happening, they're reacting in strange ways. That's because of their past lives. And because we've been told that they don't exist and you can't, talk to beings, then we've been too limited in what we can do to help them. And I want to be there for the children and to see them blossom as well as us adults. I'm about ready to blossom, I think, in my life. It's been a bit slow coming. Precisely. And the whales and dolphins can do that. And they brought me into contact with so many beings. I had relationships with other beings already, but they taught me so much. And so I use, and I'm going to talk about now, some really high-level healing techniques that I use that they've shown me. So I don't consider myself me working on my own. When you work with me, you work with thousands. That's how many are out there. It's thousands. I only ever set the intention of working with the higher level beings. So I never, I ask the angels and my guides to protect me so that any lower energies can't attach. But also, obviously, I'm releasing constantly these lower level energies that are affecting us. So some of the things that I have happen. So first of all, I started seeing this well on Sirius B when I started training, and it looks like a well. To be honest, it looks like a well, but it stands upright. So they go through the water upright where they are, and they're very technologically advanced, and they've been absolutely forbidden to use technology on this planet because their original planet, they just nigh and brought to the extinction, like us. Because of they overuse technology, and of course to a certain extent there's some parallels there, so that's why they don't appear technologically advanced. But on Sirius B I was seeing this well, and I managed to communicate with him, but it took me actually quite a few weeks to connect. Where normally as a channeler, you just concentrate on the channel and you're there. But what was happening was because he's in a different dimension, I had to learn how to get into that dimension. So my angels and guides came to me one night and they showed me that I noticed one of my angels shimmered. He wears hysterical, really, a white dress with gold trim. I mean, just like you see on the blooming pictures, which is sort of a bit of a surprising. But I noticed he was shimmering, so the light was flashing very fast on him, and they said he's shimmering through the dimensions. So he's with you, and he's in lots of other places at the same time. And they said to get to this well on Sirius B, that I named him, well, he told me his name was Henry. Actually, the name he gave me was completely unpronounceable, first of all. So he gave me the name Henry, but I could pronounce. But before I could hear from him, I had to get to him. And so I had to learn to shimmer through the dimensions, and it was a bit weird. And I felt I was going off. I just kept focusing on what I could see of the picture and intending. Your intention is very powerful. Every day we should set an intention for our day. And it took me, after, it was probably only a minute, it took me, and all of a sudden I was beside the well. And he is enormous, like being beside a well here, but he was deep in the ocean. They have an Akashic Records, a copy which automatically updates with the one on Earth. There's various other ones as well in Cosmos as well. So you can access them in lots of places. And he was with me, and it had such a beautiful energy, such a big heart. That energy filled you're with them out in the sea. That's what it's like contacting them on Sirius B. They're such advanced beings, so generous and loving. So he showed me that what the Akashic Records was like and what they were doing. So the first thing they taught me to do was to go into the Akashic Records, and they use like the tones of music. And this, to a certain extent, is what the sound therapists are doing. And they use with their fingers, they play the Akashic Records like a piano. You couldn't make it up, could you? And they change the notes. So where there's a very negative note, which we all know it can be disharmony, a frequency, unpleasant frequency, they can change it. And they taught me to do that, first of all. Henry taught me to do that. And then they kept giving me gifts of jewellery. Now, I'm not a big jewellery person. I don't even wear my wedding ring, which drives my husband up the wall. But it's because I don't like jewellery, but they kept giving me jewellery. I said, I'm fed up with all this jewellery. Anyway, they gave me this jewellery. Eventually, it was armlets up the arm here, and it changes my energy field in my hands. So my hands become well hands, which is really weird. And it actually changes how I feel outside in the snow this year. I wasn't cold at all. My husband said to me, what's wrong with you? I said, I'm just connected to the well energy through these armlets. And he looked at me like I had two heads. And they also have given me now bracelets, and now I call that well Reiki. And so on my own dogs, I don't work with Reiki with clients, though I might use a bit of Reiki if they tell me to. But with my animals and with my family, I will do a bit of Reiki on them. And I use the well energy, and it's such a powerful powerhouse of energy that comes through. And then what else did he show me? So I shimmer through timelines. So they taught me that the shimmering through the timelines, I can go with the dolphins and go up and down the timeline, and they will show me areas that we need to take and deal with, because there's certain points in this life and many lives, but they all relate. They are interrelated in patterns. So what Henry will do, he will get out files which are really strange. I see them, they're like a plastic wallet. They're not plastic, but they are waterproof, over these little computers, a bit like an iPad, but made of glass. And he's shown me a particular lifetime and where the issues are, and he might just show me a little bit of about a paragraph that long, or a whole page or page and a half, and I don't read the words. I this is another gift they've given me. I just can look at the words and I know what's it about. And I will describe to clients in great detail. But I refuse to go near anything negative. So anything of any violence or things like that. So there's a great many things going on at once. When I'm working with a client, another gift I've got is they've given me, actually I had it before, but they've developed it beyond your mind. It blows your mind really what they do. So I had able to send out love. I have when I go into my heart space, my heart expands. And this is the same for anybody when you feel love. You just go into your heart, let it expand and stand inside that. And particularly expand it outside, particularly around children and animals. And then it showed me that I can take that love right to the edges of the universe. And I often do work at night for the universe, working with dark areas around the universe. But for clients, is that Andrena? They take me to show me how I can connect to different areas around the universe or within the earth or on the earth. And I hold a lot of different energies now that they've taught me to do. So they said to me, I can connect with millions of energies. I haven't. I have connected with about 50 at a time. And I used to only be able to connect with 2 or 3, but it's building and building the skills as they teach me, and my energy to body gets strong enough to do it, because they keep showing me the healing of the planet, the healing of each one of us is going to come from everyone, and understanding this oneness in the body and the oneness with us all. And so the different energies of the wells relate, and the Arcturians, the Pleiadians, inner earth, and those beings that are in inner earth are, I suppose there's the fairies, the leprechauns in inner earth. I often wondered if I had Irish in my blood, and I was watching an Irish film, and the first scene we connected to an Irish hill, and the leprechauns came in. I had to turn the film off because they were very talkative, very chatty. And they come in with Irish clients quite often, which is phenomenal. What else happens? So in a session with the wells, they will talk to me, the well council talks to me, they're what they call the ascended wells, will talk to me about the best template for a person and the best way of unraveling what's in them, because we have no idea what really is affecting us. Like, we don't really understand so much, whereas there is having a really powerful, intelligent bestie friend. And they will show the what needs to be done. There'll be a connection with the water blessing as well. Water is so powerful. Of course, our body is water, and connecting to the water in this oceanic seas. Often it was the oceanic seas that came in on that time that I connected to the whales and dolphins first of all, and I had never experienced the oceanic waters like then, but I mean, it's amazing. I pull the oceanic waters over my property all the time. And when I put my hands in water, and we get our bottled water from, we go up to the springs in Malvern, which is about 25 minutes, which is not, not very green in a way, but I can't drink tap water. And when I put my hand in the water in Malvern, that water comes from Norway, and I connect to the wells and the water in Norway, and I send that love and just hold it for as long as I can, as a blessing goes through the water, because our water is, as we know it, is so polluted, and we've all got plastics in our body, and we know the oceans are full of plastic. But the whales are solution energy. They are so intelligent. They have so much knowledge, and they said, don't worry, we're going to help you. And all the higher beings and all the star families are going to help the planet be restored. I mean, it's just incredible. We're so privileged to have all this help. So in about 2000 and I think it was before 2012. I got 2005 in my head. Gaia, the Earth, sent a cry of help through the universe, and at that point, she decided she didn't want these lower energies. She's been working to raise her vibration ever since. So in sessions, what we do the template work, and the wolves and dolphins are working in the background on that. And then we go on a deep dive. And what we do with that is I talk us through what I see, and the wells take everybody on an individual journey. It's incredible. If I have a one-to-one session, they will go to magnificent places. We've been to angelic waters, deep in the hollow earth, which of course inner earth, we probably call it more over here, and go and visit sacred sites of the angels. I think with Andrena, I visited, in her session we visited, and I know she doesn't mind me sharing it, a giant mother pearl in the middle of this angelic sacred site that the wells took me to. And this pearl was to come into our bodies to help support us in the work we have to do on the planet. And I've been on to, I went to another beautiful mountain in that it was a sacred mountain based in inner earth, and it was completely connected with a white beam of light up to heaven. And it was so powerful. It's what the angels ascend and descend to the earth with. The well couldn't go. The well couldn't go in close to the beam of light. It was so powerful. I think we would have been sucked up to heaven. And it would just went and sat near the beam of light, and just absorbed into us this beautiful angelic work for healing. So I've also been on the timelines. The wells take you. So what they do, the wells ask you to go into their eye. And what that's for is a mechanism. So when you go into the eye of the well, you can ask them to work on these lives. You can ask them to work on your past lives and future lives and all your soul parts. And they will join their Merkaba, which is their light body, and they're helping to activate our light bodies and take it. And then they will take you on these journeys. And I don't go into the eye, just the client goes into the eye, but sometimes the well says come into the eye as well. And they will take me on this beautiful journey, and it's so fast. Sometimes they can go faster, they said, but they go slow, so I can feel it as we travel down the timeline. And for one lady, we traveled to the primeval energies of some sacred sites on the earth. So we went to a shallow lake. It was the water, I'd never seen anything like it. Pure crystalline water, and the water spread through Glastonbury, the heart of the earth, to Ireland, right down to the Pyrenees. And this vast body of quite shallow water, and we went into the heart of the Earth's heart chakra, and that person was retrieving their light codes. So what happens? You've come into the earth and you've got light codes in your heart that the earth needs at the moment, Gaia needs at the moment. So there's a connection when the light beams from your heart join to Mother Earth's heart, and these light codes are exchanged for her healing. And then she also sends them up to you as well, because we need healing as well. But often, because the beings that knew that things were going very wrong on the planet and that we were going to have a very long period of darkness, they hid a lot of their light codes. So we have to go on journeys, and you often don't do this on the first session because people have to kind of build up to it, because the wells will be working on the situation in life that they're struggling with and the negative energies that need releasing. It's before they can take these deep, more advanced journeys. But they're just beautiful. In this, on that particular sacred site we went to of the Earth's Heart Chakra at Glastonbury, and I recently went to Stonehenge and connected again with it all, with the wells. It was just beautiful. They
Right.
also took.
No, that's okay. I've got your video clip too, by the way, that you wanted to show.
Oh, have you? Should we look at that?
Yeah, and Andrena's finally cracked it.
Lovely. Hello, Andrena.
Hello, Jacqueline. It's a technical. This is a bit of a nightmare at the minute. Anyway, I've loved listening to you, so carry on with doing the clip.
Well, I went in the flow because I had to go in the flow. So this is the one I sent. So it's
you're out of the pub. There's a little boy. Look at that. There we go.
There's the well hand. It's when you think that it's a proper hand, it does change your mind how you think about it, and it's very clearly waving at her. And of course, they'll be working on them as well, so they won't be idle. They will be working on your energy field and on your DNA. And of course, when the whales come over and the dolphins come, they immediately start with the clicking and the clacking, and they can do very advanced work in the DNA with their sound. And I was listening to a YouTube clip the other day, and this dolphin was feeding it really high level sonic beams were coming out, and I could feel it in the body changing my DNA, and I only heard it it was just a few seconds. This is such a lovely clip. So the whales I connect with are humpbacked whales, but I do connect to the blue whales, and I do connect to the sperm whale. And of course, the sperm whale connected the other day and said it wants to do in my next Zoom teleconference, we're going to do a deep dive in a group. And the sperm whale are incredible creatures, because their clicks are one of the loudest animals on the earth. And what it does, it can send its clicks into our heart space to to pull out these negative frequencies that have been stuck in our bodies and change our frequencies so that we come up higher and can hold more light.
That's what it's all about, isn't it?
Yeah, that's what it's all about. Hold more light, hold more of them into our bodies. Let me just think what else I can talk about.
This is the one that came up around us.
Lovely. He's got some really serene, deep energy. Can you feel that as you look at any animal? You look and your body will synchronize with it, and just notice that serene energy coming in.
This is about 6:30 in the morning.
There's something about the stillness, isn't there, on the earth? At that time, I was sitting out there quite early this morning, and it was, we had sun. Normally in August these days we just have rain, but there was sun, and it was really calm. There's this calm energy, and some days the light is like gold. The gold frequencies it coming down to the earth to help us all. Other days I've seen it like silver. Silver is the unconditional love that's coming in, and all you have to do, whether in nature or when you're just sitting quietly, is go into your heart and just receive it, and then your body will start to synchronize with the energies that are flooding into the planet. Because if we're busy all the time, we just need to give it a minute or two just to be quiet and just to receive, because it makes just life much better, and it will be removing a lot of the negative energies, because my heart really is to remove the negative energies with the least possible pain. Unfortunately, it can be very painful at times, but that's what I want to do with people. I do that. I have keys from so many people, how the higher beings can work and help a particular issue, and they tell me at the time how to connect with them and what they can do to work to improve and remove a negative energy, and then immediately those high level frequencies are coming in to help change our frequency.
It's quite majestic when they sort of come out of the water like submarines, isn't it?
They do. They are like submarines. They can glide through the water and they can go immensely deep. And on the etheric deep dives, they can go really, really deep. And you can just see little strands of sunlight coming through the water high up above. And they go to places like Lemuria and Atlantis to change the energies and to give light codes to the earth, or to receive them or retrieve them. It's amazing. Have you got any questions, Andrena? I don't think she can hear me.
Andrena, can you hear
me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Carry on.
I can hear you.
Yeah, I can't hear it. Can you?
No.
No. Oh well, I talk about the dolphins because I'm like everybody, just love the dolphins. No, I can't hear it. I just hear squeaks.
Yeah, no, the Bradford pub. You want the Swan Bradford, eh? Not a very good plug now, is it? Haven't even got Wi-Fi.
Well, I can talk about the dolphins because the dolphins are amazing with the different things they do. But the ascended dolphins we connect with in a session, sometimes they take you, when there's a particular issue that the client's struggling with, they take you to the cosmic womb. And the ascended dolphins they're incredibly tall beings. And again, they're in a different dimension in the cosmic womb, and they surround or layer all around the room. And they will send 2 or 3 over to support me, and one will talk to me and give me suggestions and questions to ask the client. But of course, sometimes things are a bit hidden, so the questions are very clever and gentle how they ask. And at the same time, so as the negative energy is coming off, and obviously these are really distressing things quite often, but as that comes out of your energy field, the dolphins, the ascended dolphins all around the edge of the cosmic womb will take that negative energy and transmute it instantly. And it will just be, as it comes off out of the heart, it will just be gone straight away. They're very, very powerful. And it's such a lovely mechanism to, when things are so distressing that you can hardly talk about it, to have the dolphins working with you in this way. And also they're bringing things to help solve the issue or people. And you get insights into different things that are going on. I also had one client, she had to have a huge repair on her heart, which I did in that space. So it was supported in a way that was is amazing to watch. The kindness of the beings as they help heal us, because some people have been very, very damaged and had very hard lives, is incredible. And so what the whales and dolphins do in the whale healings and dolphin healings is they are working to remove negative energies, but at the same time they're working to bring in your mastery. So you can't come to Earth unless you are a master. And I don't mean just one master, one thing. And you might have thoughts of what you are a master of, like I always loved to heal with my hands, but actually I had no idea of the different masteries that I had. And that's the same for everyone. And this mastery needs to come forward now, and the whales and dolphins will help you remember. There's meditations out there you can do on YouTube to access, remember your Lemurian mastery. You can visit Lemuria, you can visit Atlantis. And when I first started visiting Lemuria, I was filled with great grief at the loss of Lemuria. It was an incredible lifetime. We could levitate, we could communicate with all the beings and the animals and the plants. It was just beautiful. And our hearts longed to do that again. So the grief when Lemuria was lost was great. And that has to be released from the collective. But then often it only takes, just a bit, perhaps a meditation or two, and then you start remembering the things you used to do, and that helps you remember these gifts for now. And we on the planet are going to see some amazing things. We are going to see people flying through the air, and no, it's not witchcraft. It's just the energies are so connected with the earth. It brings up a stream of energy into their bodies, and just beautiful things that blow your mind, really. Trying to think.
What created the downfall of Lemuria?
Pardon?
What created the downfall in Lemuria?
I don't know. I think it was. I don't even know if it was at the time of Atlantis. I've heard sometimes it was Atlantis and sometimes it wasn't. I just know that it sunk into the ground, and had memories of seeing it sinking. But why? I've heard that other people have said that was sort of targeted, like Atlantis, and that there was a coexistence of Lemuria and Atlantis at the end. And the energies on Atlantis were very, very negative. And I've seen that a lot of people had implants put in their bodies and entities in their bodies at that time. And I do a lot of work on energy fields to repair that. And it was a very dark period for a lot of people. They might not even been human. I mean, they say the Lemurians actually were a combination of male and female. So often twin flames will say that they long for their other half. And that often goes back to Lemuria. And I've seen, gone back in time with a client and shown them them at that time where they were one being. There's so much we just don't know. And there's only, a few of us doing that sort of work really to understand. And you're working with trying to counteract it, which is why we need the whales and the dolphins, because of course they survived all that time. I know often when we go down into the ocean depths, of course you can't if it's really far down, there's roads under the ground, and as we're in those energies, you can feel that the client has walked on that road at times. It's just beautiful. We're taken to temples under the ocean, deep down, trying to heal these rifts in them, because Atlantis caused not just the grief of the loss of the golden years of Atlantis, but the loss of that lifestyle, and it became very dark with these. I felt there were very negative operations going on, but they were done with lies and deceit. So people were told they were doing this to help them, but actually it didn't help them. And often when I remove implants from somebody, those implants are little beings that they were convinced and lied to that they were helping the person. And there has been rampaged with these negative energies for lifetimes, and I work on those as well, which is really weird. There's so much oneness and so much to learn, and to know that the love that permeates this planet, and you can just start to connect. The whales want you to connect not just with them, and the dolphins not just with them. They're coming to say, wake up. It's time to wake up. There's so much more to this life on Earth that we can have. It is, we want our minds to be blown, really, because we need that to wake up.
Yeah, sure, 100%. Right, so I see you do Zoom classes, and like I see, what's today? Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. It's your birthday, I take it, isn't it?
It is my birthday on Sunday, and actually it's a significant birthday, and I've never had a significant birthday before because it's a sacred day on Sunday, and we're going off to with husband to a nice hotel over in Burford that's been brought as a surprise gift by my kids. So it's just a night away with hubby and I. Doesn't happen often.
Rightio. So James Bond, I presume. Okay, so shaken but not stirred. So
But not stirred. We can stir you up as well.
Stir them up, yeah. Hey, right. So, are you doing? Okay, so with the shutdown that you had over in the UK, so you obviously moved across and did online teaching and online class through Zoom or something like that. Yeah.
It's so much. I was trying to meet with clients, but actually, it's so much easier on Zoom and working at home. I can make a sacred space, really. It was very difficult when I entered the office to make a sacred space because, when you're traveling and talking to clients, channeling messages, you need that sort of purity. Because I'm a sensitive, I tend to absorb the energies rather than, just letting them go. So they're helping me with that.
Right. So I've put up there the Zoom link. Now this is is this a workshop? In September.
Workshop. I'm only charging a tenner for it, but it's more like a deep dive. It's an etheric deep dive with the whales and dolphins, and we'll just take you through open sacred space and things and bless the waters in you, and then we just go on a deep dive, and then we were doing some healing in the heart. They're saying they want to really focus on this frequency. They're showing me that is our bodies are holding these dissonant energies, they're calling them, and the sperm whales have asked to come, and they want to heal and get into some of these wounds, and they channel a message at the time. It will be live, and the messages will come in from the World Council and the various beings that are helping us. The Arcturians have already said they're going to join us, and whenever I see a dolphin, I always get the Pleiadians as well, and the Pleiadians are specialists in the heart. We might have the cosmic surgeons turn up, psychic surgeons, to work on the heart, because they'll also be releasing the light codes in your heart to give then, and we'll go down and give them to the earth for her healing, because we care about the earth and we want the earth to heal. And the whales know exactly, and the dolphins know exactly how to do that. And often I have the fairies turn up. One of my soul parts is a fairy, and I've had a life as a fairy, so that I often get the fairies turn up. And actually, I only live about 10 miles from the Welsh border, and I was over in Wales the other day, and the red dragon said he'd like to turn up. Which is amazing. In fact, the energies in Wales are so beautiful. They're a lot softer than here in England. And when I went down to Stonehenge and travel back up, I'm still fairly low. I'm in Forest of Dean, which is just the other side of the river from Bristol. It's quite dark energies. There's a lot of energy coming over from the Pyrenees at the moment.
France.
From the Icturians to work help us, and so I'm part of trying to raise the vibration. There's many people doing that, and also we stayed at Shaftesbury, and Shaftesbury is also in the heart chakra of Gaia, and that's a female energy, and it was very religious female. There was a priory, and those energies were quite dark, but there was a ley lines, a great meeting of the Michael and Mary line, just behind the town hall in Shaftesbury, and the energies are beautiful, like a river, and our bedroom window was just overlooking the this, and I could feel this flow through my heart chakra all night. It was amazing. And the people in Shaftesbury are working so hard to restore the ley lines of the town, because it's a famous one on the Hovis advert, actually, a really little English town.
Hang on a sec. Let's just bring that up. Okay.
So we went down to, first of all, we went to Stonehenge, because there are lots of beings that have ships over Stonehenge. And Stonehenge, they say, is one, I don't think it's as big as Uluru, which is enormous, isn't it? But Stonehenge is one of the highest frequencies for the planet. And then what they're using, the Arcturians are doing, they're using Stonehenge to send this energy all around the planet. And then they went down into getting the energies from Salisbury. The cathedral in Salisbury is a hotspot, and then down to Weymouth on the coast. And Weymouth has a lovely energy, and there's a Wishing Well cafe in Weymouth with beautiful energies on it. And I was quite surprised. I actually sat and cried when it was time to come home, because however hard I work, the energies are relentless of having to keep being lifted and purified. There's Salisbury.
Yeah.
And a little further down on the coast, you'll see will be Weymouth, and there's Glastonbury. And of course, Stonehenge is not very far. And there's also Avebury down there, which every year we usually go to Avebury. We went to Stonehenge this year. And Avebury, it's just beautiful to walk around there. It's free entry apart from an expensive car park fee, but it's beautiful to walk in the energies. And it's really good if people can just get to a sacred site. We all have access to sacred sites, and in fact they're saying there's a lot of sacred sites that are hidden, and if you ask, you should be able to be told where those sacred sites are, and you help the planet by opening them up, and also helping your energy field be firmly established. So what they were doing, they were making me bring in many of the energies while I was in Stonehenge Circle. When I went into the inner circle, you're not allowed to touch the stones, but it was lovely just to be there. I actually did touch the stones when I was a child. And of course, you can always go to Avebury and you can touch the stones freely at Avebury. And then there's the crop circles around there. And it's lovely to lay down in the crop circle and have the energies. And apparently, even when the farmers have mowed and ploughed a lot of their crop circles within 24 hours of them finding them. But the next year, it will still be there. There's something on the electromagnetic field is affected with where the crop circles are. And I did start to study them a bit more, but you can only study one thing, really. There's so vast the topics.
Yeah, well, the farmers get annoyed with people coming through and walking through their fields and stuff.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, so I noticed that some get a 44-gallon drum, put a bit of concrete or something into it, and put it on a pallet, and they leave it there for donations to sort of get some recompense for the trotting dog of the week, isn't it?
Well, they should do that. They deserve that. I mean, I'm sure it wouldn't even cover remotely their costs. But also, I was talking to someone in the area, and they were saying that the farmers said it was people playing pranks on them, because, and it's just not true. You can tell a prank crop circle because it looks really cruddy, to be honest. But these are precise, like single strands are bent over and very intricate. And I think the farmers would be honoured to know that they were there and being visited at night. But when you're being told people are coming and destroying your crops for no reason at all, I mean, I would be outraged.
Because I was in Long Barrow, and
yeah, been to the Long Barrow. Up there, you can go for a walk.
I'm just saying, I was there. And,
have you?
Yeah. But on this particular occasion, there for a week, they had an ITV crew, no, BBC crew there. No, National Geographic. And they had a mobile crane, and they had these two guys in a suspended bucket, and they were going around with some wood to try and make a crop circle. And the whole show was all about the difference between crop circles and fake crop circles, and that's what they were trying to prove.
Yeah, that they're all fake. But when you go, it's like being with a whale when you lie inside a crop circle. It's a similar energies. It's just it's serene, lovely.
So let's come over to Wales, because that's a really great spot there. I mean,
yes.
So way around there, it's lovely, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, of course, we haven't really been able to go across. It's complicated because they've got different COVID rules to we've got. So there's a lot of problems in Wales, because when they announced in England that we can go walking again and we're free to go anywhere, of course it wasn't free to go anywhere. Wales was still shut, and they were arresting people turning up at the Brecon National Park, which felt really extreme to do that. So I'm on the Forest of Dean, is just little bit up here. That's it. Just where the Severn comes in. There's Rothermore. That's not very far from me. That's about half an hour away. And the Wye Valley. The Wye Valley is on the other side of my hill, and I go swimming in the Wye Valley, and it's just lovely energies coming down. But I have to say, when you go across into Wales, it had a similar energy from what is changing on the south coast of England. But I would say Wales is more advanced. And I have never had a dragon come up to me, beautiful, full of love dragon. And I was thinking, I wonder if I ought to try and connect to the English dragons. And it was Monmouth that I was in when I connected to the dragon, which is just over the border. And I wonder if I should ask the Welsh dragons to come and help me connect to the English dragons, because there'll be English dragons who can also help. Of course, a lot of the sites, the dragon energies, are often mentioned on the various planes and things like that. There's rocks that look like a dragon's head and things, which I've always wanted to go and see, but you can only do so much during life. Of course, the dragon energies need to be restored really up on the planet. So when I went back to the primeval energies on the planet, I brought them back to Mother Earth, and she had forgotten what it was like at the beginning with those primeval and the power of them and the purity of them. She'd completely forgotten, and it was just like there was this feeling of her absorbing them. And just remembering, like we remember nice memories when we were children. That's what she was doing. And it was, we travelled with the whale. I travelled back up the timeline to now, and gave these energies with the client's energies into the earth for the restoration of the earth. We also visited several sites, and a dragon's blood tree, which is a really ancient tree which comes up, and it's more Native American tree, and it's just beautiful to burn it as incense in the home. And I saw went back in time and saw the dragon's bug tree, and the pure air on the planet then, and all that's going to be restored. We don't know what's coming. It's going to be so wonderful.
Oh, bloody brilliant. That's good. Excellent.
Good.
So, meanwhile, just off the screen there is Andrena's just come back to say that the pub's Wi-Fi system's gone haywire. So, she apologises.
Do you know, I think it's something to do with the CMEs we're having and the solar flares, because there's been a few outages out yesterday as well.
All right. Listen, can we wind it up there, and then let's see if we can't get Andrena back, and let's get you back on another occasion, eh?
I'm glad you enjoyed it. Lots to tell you more.
No, heaps of stuff there. But if you go longer than what we're doing, then people don't end up watching the show or go back to see it later on.
Yeah.
Dip in and out. Yeah, well, I'm sure anybody who's into whales and dolphins. Well, actually, stop. What I liked about what you had to say was eye contact. And I noticed when I take photos, I always make sure that I actually focus, if I can, on the eye of the particular animal, because, you know, they always say that the eyes are the windows of the soul, and you actually can feel that when you capture that particular photo from whatever sentient being that you take. So when you talk about the whale's eye, I mean, the elephant eye is as equal as strong as the whale. So,
of course.
So there's something to be said for looking into the eye of any sentient being. So interesting about Sirius B. It's a really fascinating subject with the two big suns in Sirius and Sirius B. And interesting about the Whale Council. It's an interesting concept. So really, I suppose at the end of the day, it's a timeline, and jumping through the timeline, so that you could actually, it might take, so I don't know, a million years of this particular three-dimensional timeline, but who's to say that all of a sudden someone goes back in time and this particular timeline gets erased, and we jump to a new timeline that goes back to a million years ago, and we've had that lesson, we've moved on to a new dimensional time.
Everything's restored. Amazing.
Yeah. So thank you, Jacqueline. My sister's called Jacqueline, so it's nice to, it's always sometimes put that French inflection into it, Jacqueline.
I know. Husband says it like that as a joke. I quite like it. Well, the EL means she's an angel. That's why she's got it. She's an angel, the EL.
No, well, you can save it up for Sunday, can't you? And just make sure you've got right garments for Sunday night. Then away. Anyway, cheers for that, and happy birthday. Wish you well, and may our whale kingdom keep coming along with the dolphin kingdom.
Yeah, keep interacting with us.
Yeah. All right, love your work. Thank you for being with us.
Take care.
All right.
Bye.
Bye. Love you.